You can go ahead and use your chat feature if you have any questions at any point about what we're doing here. If you hear us say anything about what we might do in our classrooms, or if you just want to share what you're doing,
Yeah.
that
Also,
would
if
be
you,
awesome also.
sorry, if you have anything, that we're not going over that you have questions about, or maybe would like some more info about, we would be more than happy to keep looking up resources and do another call, providing you guys with more services that everybody's using. So please feel free to let us know in the chat feature if there's anything else you're looking for information wise or professional development wise.
All right. Give another. I'm just looking in the chat. Oh, did you mute yourself? You're so funny. Sam, it won't let me unmute you now.
I think, yeah, just hit it once and then leave it, because I think every once in a while it takes a minute or two to lag over and change. There you go. Now
Yeah.
it should be good.
Oh, yeah, you're good now. Okay. Hi, everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't see anybody waiting. Oops. Let me just make sure. All right. I think we're good. All right, so real quick, everybody is muted. That's just because, like, I know you wouldn't be like talking and interrupting. It's just the background noise of everything that's happening in your house. When all of that is added together, it makes for a very noisy Zoom call. I'm sure you've been on some of those, or with kids and dogs popping up on the screen. That's always fun. I like the animals when they come to hang out. So if you haven't seen the features at the bottom, if you're on a computer, in participants, you should be able to raise your hand. So if you wanted to add something verbally, we can unmute you and you could share that. The best option is to use the chat feature. And while I'm talking, Joe and Samantha will be policing that to make sure your questions get answered, or they'll interrupt me if they think it's something that everyone in the group should hear. So use those features. And we definitely want to hear from you. If there's anything additional that you need, anything you're confused about, please let us know at any point. All right. So real quick, I am Jamie Gross. I'm teacher over at Ford's Middle School. I teach technology and coding. We were asked by the township to run these PD for everybody so that you can get access to information about tools that are going to help you, during this distance learning thing. Mr. Callahan and all the tech teams keep emphasizing, don't try to do too much at one time. So, we're showing you Screencastify and Flipgrid today, but maybe you just try one of these after today. And then maybe next week you try another one. You don't have to, try to do everything all at one time. That might make you crazy. Sam, did you want to?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha Tulloch. I work over at Avenel Middle School. I am the computer liaison and tech teacher over there. I'll be sharing with you how to use Screencastify today. And I'll be answering the questions in the chat with Joe as Jamie talks through a few things. So feel free to drop anything in there if you have any questions.
Joe?
Hey, I'm Joe Vitale, teacher at Island Middle School, Chief Civics and Technology. The middle school calls are the most widely attended. It's great. It's also good because I think, you never know what's going to happen on a middle school call. Last week we had some amazing video production that popped in there. Hopefully, Zoom apparently learned from my mistakes. But yeah, we look forward to servicing you guys and giving you guys a hand with any technology needs that you may have, as well as, how to deal with the instruction and talk a little bit about how we're using these tools in our classrooms. So excited to help.
Yes. All right. So real quick, we're going to start with an activity. So you could do a couple of things here. If you have your phone or your iPad handy, you could just take a shot of this QR code, and that'll take you directly to the Padlet that we're going to work on right now. If you are not able to pull up a second device, you could just open up a tab in your browser, and you can just type in the bit.ly link, bit.ly/video Padlet WTSD. And we're gonna just crowdsource some answers to the question, why are we using video with our students? Why do we think it's important to use video? And if you have any trouble, please let us know in the chat. So again, you can just if you just open your camera and hold your camera over this QR code, you'll get prompted to go to the Padlet. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's pretty fun. Or you can just type in this bit.ly link here, all lowercase. I'm going to hop over to the Padlet. Sam, do you think you could throw the bit.ly link into the chat?
Already done.
She already did.
Thank you. Yeah, we're a well-oiled machine over here at middle school PD, let me tell you. So this is a Padlet. If you've never used one before, they're really simple. You just either click the plus sign, or you can double click in any area. You don't have to be logged in, so you'll see over here that I'm not logged in. And then I would just title my response, and then I can add in. So I just want to know, why are we using video in distance learning? Screencastify allows us to make video. Flipgrid allows us to make video and have our students make video. So why do we think that using video is important? We're starting to get some responses here. And you can respond to each other, like each other's responses. If you've never used a Padlet before, they're pretty great. Joe, Sam, do you guys have anything to add about Padlet?
No, they are editable. They're shareable. You can make them shareable in certain settings in regards to just in the Woodbridge Township School District or outside of that. It's a cool little feature. It's a little message board.
You can see here that you can upload things. The kids could add links. So if you were crowdsourcing information about a topic, you can add images, and then they have all these other things that you could do. So it's pretty great. It's great.
A lot of the names are popping up as anonymous. If you log in with your account, your name will change. So that's something to just keep in mind if you're going to use this with students. Or you could just have them put the name in the title.
I wish that I could move these so that they're not in a line like this.
You can, I think, in the initial setup, that is something you can do, like which grid you choose.
Yeah. But anywho, we're getting some really good responses. So interactions with our students are making that distance learning more authentic. It's definitely fun. I think it's always funny when like your kids hear your voice and they like that they are like laughing a little bit on the inside. Keeping connection is super important. I know for me, I'm a visual learner, so if I don't see it, like if you were giving me directions verbally, I wouldn't be able to follow what you were saying.
I know.
Describe and explain directions, repeat ourselves. I was talking to a colleague today, and she was like, I gave them directions in Remind. I gave them directions in Classroom. I gave them directions in a video. It's like, how many different ways can you give them the directions to the same assignment that they're still not going to follow?
Shout out if anyone can throw the best, anyone who could throw the best school appropriate students following directions meme in the group chat. Special extra points for you.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if I could change the settings on this Padlet real fast to make it visually more appealing. But anyway, so we're all kind of on the same page about using video, about why we want to use video. If you've never done things like this before, it's not hard. It just requires you a little bit of practice. So I am actually going to turn this over to Samantha, and she is going to talk to you guys about Screencastify. Screencastify, if you've never used it, is actually a Chrome extension. And Sam, you are host, so you should be able to take over.
Yep. Everyone. So one of the things that we heard from parents yesterday in the middle school parent call was that they wanted to see more of us. And one way we could do that is by using Screencastify. So I'm going to show you my screen. Okay. So Screencastify is an extension that we can use. I want to get out of here. So you can get to the extensions by going to the web store. If you're on a Chromebook like I am, you can go down here and you can get to the web store. And type in Screencastify. And then it'll bring it up and it'll say at web store. I already have it. And if you already have it and it says open in Chrome, then it will show over here in your extensions bar over here, which is next to your URLs. And this is it, the one right up here. It's like a reddish pink, and that's the one that you want to use. When you are in Screencastify, all you have to do is click this extension right here. It's a little slow today. I'm sorry. And it will give you a whole bunch of different options. If you have not done this before, up here it'll say upgrade. Jamie, if you want to put that in there, it's cast_COVID. It gives you a free, yes, all uppercase. It gives you the option, the opportunity to upgrade to unlimited at no cost. With that, you can make videos that are longer than 5 minutes. I had a teacher talking to me the other day, and she said, well, I'm going in and I'm giving each of the kids comments on their math problems in Google Docs. And she's like, it's taking so long. And I said, well, if you have a whole class of 25 and 15 of them need an explanation of one problem, make a Screencastify, and this way you only have to do it once and then pop that video in there. So on here, you have multiple different options. You can record yourself in the webcam only, which is a view like you would see if you were making a video. You can have your desktop, and when you're on your desktop, you have the option to embed the webcam. When you embed the webcam, it shows you and your whole desktop. It would show you in the bottom right-hand corner. And then you have the option to just do a browser tab, which is just one tab. In here, you can also enable drawing tools as you're going through it.
Sam, can I stop you for 1 second?
Sure.
The browser tab option is really good for people who are new to screencasting and would like to work from like a script, because you can bounce back and forth between like a Google Doc and what you're showing the kids, but they only see what you want them to see. They don't see the Google Doc. So it's just a good little cheat to, if you're new to this and you wanted to like have, you know, it right there in front of you on the screen, so you could just click back and forth, but they would only see what you wanted them to see.
Are there any questions about this in the chat, or?
No, Joe is just saying like 5 minutes is a good baseline. Remember, they have really short attention spans. So if your video gets really lengthy, you're going to lose them. So break it up into chunks. If it's like something longer, make them like little clips, or, you know, try to squish everything into 5 minutes.
Whenever you create a Screencastify, it automatically goes into your Google Drive. It's one of those pre-populated folders in here. So in your Google Drive, mine is slightly over-organized. So I have folders inside of folders that are color coordinated. And they're in alphabetical order, and it's Screencastify, and in there are all of the videos that I've made. There has been a problem recently with, since we are in distance learning, the kids being able to see the videos that you're making if they're on a different device. They're not uploading properly. Like I made one on my PC the other day, and the kids couldn't see it through Google Classroom, but I made one on my Chromebook, and then they could see it. So there is a way that you can put these in YouTube, and when you're all done with them, you can upload them to YouTube. Everyone has a district YouTube account. Well, that's a great thumbnail of me right there. So
Sorry.
I've made a few screencastifies recently, and they all just live here. I'm just going to keep scrolling past that one. So
and you can move them. So if you wanted to organize them into like your folder where you keep the work for that those videos coincide with, you can move them to those folders so everything is in the same place.
You can also rename them. I've gotten kind of lazy with renaming them because I do just move them to where the folder that I need them in. And when you upload them to YouTube, you can make them unlisted, so this way only the people with your URL can view it. So, did I miss anything?
With your upgraded accounts, you can also edit your videos.
That came in handy the other day.
Yeah, so like if you're like halfway through your video and like, you know, your husband or child walks in the room and, you know, starts talking and you quickly shoo them away, you know, you could go back in and you could cut out that segment so you don't have to start all the way back over from the beginning. Those of us who have been using Screencastify for a number of years now, that was always like our point of contention. Like, I'm not paying for it. So you get like 3 minutes into your video and like somebody would walk into your classroom and start talking to you and you would have to start the whole video all over again.
The other day I was doing a screencast to show everyone how to use Zoom, and I was waiting for the participants to come into my Zoom meeting, and I was sitting there for 4 minutes. So thankfully I was able to edit that out because I didn't want to redo the whole video. I don't know if you've experienced this, but it has had a little bit of a lag lately with editing. It takes time, so just don't overclick it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to give host back to Jamie.
Actually, you can just give it right to Joe.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Joe's going to talk about Flipgrid. Does anybody have any questions about Screencastify? I think out of the people who are here, I feel like a lot of you already use it. But if you don't, let us know if you need anything. And guys, just as we're
sorry,
talking,
you're waiting in the room.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you, Ms. Gross.
Okay. Yeah. So all this video of this presentation and the slides for this presentation will be posted in the website after this meeting. So if you know anybody that wanted to attend this and couldn't, then let them know that they could watch the video or see the slides on the website. Is it me that's breaking up?
I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest.
All right. So Joe, you have host.
Yes.
All right. So you can get started.
Okay. So I think I'm breaking up too. So I'm going to do my best to.
Keep talking.
Jamie, can you? Jamie and Sam, can you both hear me? Because I know you guys have mics on.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about Flipgrid. I am new to Flipgrid myself. I just started using it basically through this distance learning process. It's one of those tools that I knew was always there, but just like everybody else, we have so many programs that we have to get started with. I've always had this one on like the back burner. But what I've started to do was use Flipgrid, and I do Flipgrid Fridays. I give my students a way to reflect on their week. I want to give a shout out. I could see her at the bottom of my screen to Miss Katora, now Miss Radajak. Now she, changing her name, that whole marriage thing. So she did a really cool, and it's in the Facebook group. She also posted it there. She did a really cool activity of a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You want to talk about? I'm going to unmute you for a second. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's fine.
Go right ahead.
So I just needed to kind of a little break on the Fridays to do a little catch up of my own with the work, and I knew the kids were like fried. So I kind of went onto Flipgrid for the first time and was scrolling through, it's called the Disco Library. And I just wanted to see what topics they had that were not like language arts related. And they had something that was kind of called like Beyond the Classroom. So I clicked that option and they had a ton of topics. Some were like related to Fridays. Others were like just, random reflections. They had a ton of options you could do with the kids. So I chose the Friday 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I did my own recording first so the kids could see. So you had to tell, 5 things that made you smile that week, 4 things or 4 words to describe your week, 3 things you plan to do on the weekend, 2 things you learned that week, and 1 goal you have set for next week. And I gave it like a time limit because some kids can ramble on and on. So I gave it like, I think maybe a 3-minute time limit that they had to meet. And it was an easy participation grade. I even said that to them on Google Classroom. I'm like, guys, this is the easiest A you can get. I was like, so, I gave them directions on the Screencastify, and I had all of them respond. And it seems like they really enjoyed it. And then I replied back. You can reply back through comments, or you can record your own video. I did on my phone, and I tried to reply back to each one with, thanks for sharing, and commented on something positive they said. So that was pretty much about it.
Yeah, thank you for describing that. We really appreciate it. And I've been using it in a very similar way. So I started out using this because Flipgrid, just to talk about it, the reason I started with Flipgrid this semester, I use Flipgrid AR, which is their augmented reality program. It allows you to print out a little QR code. So students make this poster for the Woodbridge Township History Project, and they put the QR code on the poster. So the poster's hanging on the wall, and you scan the QR code, and their video like pops up in the app, and you can like move around, and the video moves with you, and the kids loved it. And it was a really cool way of them presenting their poster without doing a presentation. So, but now I've kind of gravitated more towards the traditional quote unquote use of Flipgrid in my classroom. So you'll see that I've done like different block entries. The first week I had them give me responses to the questions that are here. What did you do that was successful that week? What are you struggling or have difficulty with? And what did you do to help out your parents and or your family today? So the first Friday we had, I told them, look, you have to do this Flipgrid, but I want you helping out around the house. I want you to do something. I want you to listen to your parents, help your little brother, go rake leaves, do something to help out around the house. Having kids of my own, that's important that, we keep them busy. I've been giving my kids advanced dishwasher engineering as well as AP laundry folding. That's 2 of their additional classes that they have. But in each of their responses, like Ms. Radijak just said, I respond to them. Okay, and when you respond, it puts your picture, I'm just going to pause that for a second, put your picture next to it. They're learning. This picture, this person held the phone, they held the phone portrait instead of landscape. So when they hold it portrait, their video was sideways. But then I can record a response to their video. Rachel, great job on your submission. Thanks for being honest. You have to record a selfie each time too. And each time I record one, I do a different ridiculous selfie because I'm awful at them, but I do it to be fun and to have a little bit of, humor in the assignment. So just to give you an example, I did a test class here.
Hey, Joe.
For this
Can
session.
You unmute Tammy? She muted herself on accident.
I thought I unmuted her. Yep. Okay. I'm on it.
Thank you.
All right. So there's a couple things.
Can you just go over grids and
yes.
all that stuff real fast?
So to show you what it
right in.
No, that's fine. And that was part of I was going to back up and do that now. So when I want to add a new grid, I click on the Add New Grid button. And also, I just want to make mention that things look a little different on the iPad if you're using the Flipgrid app. You're going to do things, you're going to make your post in the Flipgrid app, but you're going to make your grid web-based as my dogs go running through my kitchen. you're going to make your post web-based. It's going to push you out to either Safari or to Google Chrome. So when I make a grid, I can name it. So I'm going to call it Friday test. Okay. You want to click on school email because you want them to join with their WTSD NJ account. Okay. Because it's already linked, because you're going to create your account with you're going to log in with your Google account like we do for everything. Okay. From there, I get this code and I can post it directly to Google Classroom and say, hey, go to this grid and post your response to it. Okay. I also have the ability to go back and edit the grid and add additional details. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go to this teacher PD session and I go to Mr. Vitale's test class, pardon me, you'll see I have my children. I threw them in a test class in Google Classroom, and I sent them this grid. And I asked them to do the responses. I wrote directions. What's your favorite thing about distance learning? And if you could give a teacher any advice about distance learning, what would it be? So I asked my children to go in their rooms last night and to record their response.
Hi. My favorite thing about distance learning would probably be that I can spend time with my family and my pets all day while I do my work, and I can have my parents help me with any work that I have. And one piece of advice that I would give to teachers is ask your students for feedback, because what you're giving them could be too much for them, so it might be too much for the students, and you should ask for feedback.
She
Okay.
gets all that intelligence from her mother.
It's very true. Now my son,
Sophia, I definitely agree with that
I had him respond to her Flipgrid.
reason. We do get to spend a lot of family time with each other when we're here, distant learning, and at school we don't really get any help. And
Now listen, there's a reason I stopped it there, because I talked to him about this. He goes, well, that's not really what I meant. So I said, well, that's where we record that segment. It's real, like our students, as you know, growing up in this environment, this is a really easy program for them to navigate. I want to show you what it looks like if I were to give a feedback response. Okay, it brings up my camera. Okay, and I have a bunch of different controls here, and I hope you can see all this. This is what I want to focus on. There's this little button. Does everybody see that yellow sticky note that's posted there? Okay, so this yellow sticky note, I could type in notes and things that I want to say, okay? But this doesn't show up on my recording. It's just there as like literally a sticky note. So then I have notes to read off of. So if you wanted kids to describe a math problem, if you wanted them to talk about their favorite composer and why they like their music, if you wanted them to talk about, their favorite part of physical activity, if it's for a phys ed class, you could have them do that, make some notes, and talk about it. There's also some cool little filters down here. They could add emojis, they could add texts, they could add filters, they could do drawings. I require them to show me their face. I don't want them covering their face with emojis. This is also, I actually had a parent call me about this app the other day, because she was looking up some things and she saw that Flipgrid is Snapchat for educators. And she thought that it was more of a social media based program where like other people could also see, and she was concerned about the sharing of information. This is very much like Google Classroom. If you let someone in, that's the only people that can get in, and the students will be responding to one another. So it is safe, it's protected, it's free, which is also the best part about it. And you're able to continually share. You can also change this amount in the responses. You can make it 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you decide when you first set it up. I am trying to go back. Ms. Kaysen, that's a great question. Can kids save other people's videos? No, but if they're savvy enough and they can figure it, I mean, they easily could take their phone and record somebody's video and post it somewhere else, let's be honest.
But
and as Ms. Gross said, you can choose who to see, and if they can respond to each other, You can set things up where they can hide, you can hide the posts from each other where only you will see their responses. It really depends on how you do the setup. And the one of the good things you can do with this is test it out. I gave them, give them that little nonsense activity. I asked them a question, is cereal soup? And ask them to respond to it and give you a reasoning behind it. It's pretty clever to see some of the.
I found this on the web for what is cereal soup and ask.
Thanks, Siri. So what happens when you got too many devices floating around? Yeah, that was a good interruption. At least it wasn't pornography. So anyway, it's really is a fun program.
Joe, can you let somebody back in?
Yes, I just did. I'm going to go back to, because I've set one up for tomorrow. The kids can do little goofy selfies and stuff like that. All of this is editable. You go to the pencil. You can edit. You can change the directions. In the actions, you can also duplicate this topic. So if you were giving I would suggest if you have, 2 blocks, block 1 and the block 3, you do a block 1 grid and a block 3 grid. So you separate them. It'll be easier for when you go and grade it to track it. Ms. Couture, would you agree with that? Is that what you do? Sorry, I'm unmuting you again.
Yeah, definitely. I currently have a block 2 class and a Wilson class though, so I don't have to duplicate another one for my block 1 because that's with my other teacher we split that with. Okay. So, but if you have multiple blocks this semester, then yeah, duplicating it is the way to go. Make it easier for yourself.
I've also set up for tomorrow's response. So I'm going to ask them to, what is something that made them smile or laugh this week? Use 2 words to describe your week and explain why you chose them. And if you were president, you could suggest to Congress a new law or change to a law, what would it be and why? So I've given them a jumping off point, and they're more than, and I also tell them, you do a response, you get an 85. The only way to get an A is to respond to somebody else appropriately. And again, these are things that I do and how I use it in my classroom. And if anybody else has a strategy, if they've used Flipgrid, if they want to talk about it, that's fine. But I've given them a jumping off point, and this is my video for tomorrow. Laugh and or smile this week, of course, was my straight fire April Fool's joke with the milk's gone bad. Come on, that's hysterical. 2 words that describe my week this week.
It's breaking out.
I'm really happy to say that I stayed organized this week and kept on top of all of my responsibilities and the duties that I had to complete for work. It's the end of the marking period. I kept everything on track, which was really cool and good for me. Another word for me this week would definitely be isolated. I felt a little bit isolated this week, so I've been working on doing FaceTime with some friends and a buddy of mine. I'm sure you guys are on the app House Party to do video chats and stuff like that. So it was really cool to be trying that out, popping in and talking to my friends and family and stuff like that. So yeah, trying to break that isolation. Okay, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but if I were to propose or change one law, I would propose a extended school day. Hear me out. 1, I would mandate if there were an extended school day that there would be no written homework. 2, I would want more classes added, like electives and fun things for you guys to do while you are at school. Coding, computer, stuff like that. Okay, so, and that's my jumping off point for them for tomorrow. And then I want them to reflect and add some of their own things. All those features with the words and the text, it's just little features and things that you can throw in to enhance your video and make it look a little bit flashier. And it's really simple to do the editing and the recording. And that's essentially how I'm using Flipgrid in my classes. There's a lot more here. You can be pals with different teachers and share with different educators. You can make a mixtape of the best responses, and you can add everybody's greatest responses for the week and share that out in the video. I haven't tried this yet. I was going to kind of throw that in there. On another note, I really don't want an extended school day. I just want to give them, I just want them getting emotional about it and maybe responding to me and say, I think that's a bad idea, and here's why. So I want to create that dialogue with them and get them responding. And again, in all the setup, just to show you very quickly, if we go back to, sorry, I have this control bar in front of me. I have to move. If I go back to my grids, let's say I changed my mind and I don't want them to see each other's responses. Okay. I go to the, I go to the actions. Sorry, everybody. I have all these extra windows here that are open. I'm going to go to edit this. Okay. And then I can scroll down and I have all these different options. Student to student replies. Allow students to reply via video to one another. I can turn that off. Okay. I can also moderate it. As they come in, I watch it. If it's appropriate, I can post it. Okay. I can also schedule it. So they have to do it in a certain amount of time and it'll turn off and it doesn't allow them to post it late. I also can do likes where they can like each other's videos, the view count, because they kind of like that. You know, that's a little bit, you know, I guess, like it's on Instagram, you can like other people's posts, so they kind of like that idea. So it's very, it's social media-y, but they enjoy the fun interaction stuff that surrounds it. So again, this is another thing that when the time comes and you're ready to put something in place, you could definitely use this. And also I steer you to the PD website that Ms. Gross has been doing an amazing job in being the lead person developing, to take a look at that information for more stuff about Flipgrid. And
do you want to give me host back
I
and
would
we'll
just
walk?
Yep, I was just going to do that. Let me just go back to full screen and I will do that. Actually, if you hit, oh, here's a, wait, what is it? Hold on. This is something for everybody. If you give someone else host control and you want to, if you were the originator of the meeting and you want to get it back, you hit, darn it. I'm looking for there's so many threads and there's a lot of Tiger King memes that I have to comb through. So you got to bear with me.
Control.
It's control what? Did you send it in? Control Shift
G.
Go ahead, do it. So if Jamie does Control Shift G on her keyboard, she will grab back the host duties and be able to share her screen.
Nope.
Or actually Sam would, because Sam's the one that gave it to me.
But you can just make me host for now.
Or I could just make you host for now. See, we're learning too. All right, it's gross, more, make host. All right, there you go. And if I'm muted, if I'm not muted, I'm good. Okay, go ahead.
It could be Control Shift S.
Yeah, it might be. I can't find the picture that we sent this morning.
All right, guys.
And don't forget while, oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
Don't forget while Ms. Gross is switching over, make sure that you're tracking your professional development hours, go into the portal.
Yeah.
Put down that you were on here for an hour, even if we're a little short. And make sure that you're keeping track of things.
Okay, a couple of things before we finish up. Like we said at the beginning, make sure you're throwing any ideas that you have for things that you might want to hear more about in the chat. This is so Flipgrid
Any
and
chance
Nearpod,
they get. Any chance they get.
Yeah. So Flipgrid and Nearpod are integrated together. If you didn't know, so if you love Nearpod and you're starting out with Flipgrid, know that you can put those Flipgrids into your Nearpods. Mr. Vitalia loves Nearpod.
If Nearpod were a pretty girl, I would ask it out on a date.
Yeah, so I'd like to jab him a little bit, but it's fun to app smash. We made this little exit slip activity for you guys in Flipgrid. So if you wanted to see the student experience, you can go there, record yourself, and I left open all the options so you can record to each other. I put a little topic in there, how you think that you'll use these tools going forward, so you can share your ideas or things that you are currently doing with teachers. Again, you don't have to do this right this second. And then there is a survey if you have the time to fill that out for us. It's really quick. It's just a bunch of little click things. Samantha and Joseph and I are, I'm using formal names now, are Google certified trainers. And because Screencastify is a Google Chrome extension, this helps us with our trainer hours, but we don't get credit unless we have participant survey filled out. So again, this slide presentation will be on the website, like literally right after this meeting is over. So if you could fill out that survey for us, that would be awesome. And please be honest, because we're always looking for ways, especially now that we're in this digital format, to improve what we do in helping the teachers out.
Flipgrid is also, Ms. Blasina, I'm just addressing your question. There's a link I put in there to Flipgrid's page regarding their privacy features. They are owned by Microsoft. They're partnered with Microsoft. And they're FERPA and COPA, Children's Online Privacy Act compliant. So the teacher's the one that has the control over these things. I did not reach out to my parents and say that I was using this. I just sent it. That's basically what I did. So you might want to check with your administrators and see if it's okay that you use it, although most of them are pretty much on board with it because at least small pockets of teachers in every building are using it.
Yeah. So this is the Flipgrid portion of the website. If you haven't been to the website yet, you should check it out. So the meeting notes and videos. So if you missed the first meeting that we had, the teacher meetup, all of the resources are here.
The second half of it. The second half of the meeting is on there. Only
it's
the second, not the first half. Just the second
half. Not the good part.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to pay for the first part. Screencastify resources.
Jamie, Sam is muted. Can you unmute her, please?
No, she cannot participate anymore. I'm sorry. All right. Sam, you should be good to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so yeah, so the Screencastify stuff, there's some stuff that we got from the high school. So if you recognize some of these people, there's also some videos from elementary school teachers as well. So lots of resources for you to use. And we're also, I'm also posting all the professional development that's happening for Woodbridge Township teachers only. On the website, and so there are actual links directly to this PD. There's a math, not math, an IXL that Mr. Ali put together for new users happening right now, and there's an experienced users one at 3:15.
Mr. Callahan wanted us to make sure that we make mention that any of these links that this site is viewable to the Woodbridge Township School District only. Please do not share any of these links out to anyone else outside of the Woodbridge Township School District. The two Nearpod webinars that are going to be run by Jess Lobb, myself, and Kyle Reed, they're specifically for using Nearpod in a distance learning setting. They're both the same webinar, so you can do one or the other. You don't have to do both. Jess is excellent. She has a lot of resources. And Kyle and I are now in the Pioneer program to help with training and material development for them too. So we have some stuff that we'll be able to share with you guys if you decide that you want some more PD and you want to come on next week.
Also, we're shamelessly plugging our Google Certified Trainer Bootcamp. So if you are level 1 and level 2 Google Certified and you want to become a trainer, click on this image and it'll take you to the registration form. And this is a Google site. So if you've never played around with Google sites, they're super easy to use. And you can see, you can make it look pretty great and not a lot of time.
Yeah, there is a plan for school wires to go away and Google Sites through Apogee to take its place. So, of course, if you're still using whatchamacallit, what's the oh my God, I just said it, the district thing.
School wires?
Yeah, school wires.
School wires.
All right. If you're still using your school wires page, you still can, but I know they are going to be transitioning to something different for next year. That is probably something that we'll maybe do a PD on for Google Sites later in the in this time period that we're not traditionally in school.
All right. Is there anything in the chat? I can't. Oh, there it is.
Doesn't look like it. I know Sam is muted or was muted.
Not
Many times she wasn't muted. Didn't address your questions.
I did put the link for the survey in there. Use the second one, and I put the exit slip in there if you want to copy and paste those links into your web browser, and then you could see what the exit slip is and take our survey. We would greatly appreciate any feedback.
I just want to. There's two questions I'd like to address there. Sorry.
Did anybody else? Was Sam broken up for anybody else? Because it sounded like you were drunk, and it was hilarious. Because like all your words had a pause after them.
Sorry.
She's not.
I'm very delayed over here today.
Lots
of internet issues.
Yeah.
Mr. Tomaszewski, I saw that you wrote, how do you type written comments on the videos? I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Or Jamie, do you know how to do that in Flipgrid? Can you maybe bring that up on your screen since you have host capabilities?
I don't have it open. I gave it back to you.
Got it. Okay. And also, Megan Furbig responded to Ms. McDermott's question, does Flipgrid sync with Google Classroom? It does. It shares direct to Google Classroom, and kids will join with that specific link that you give them. So when you have a grid, you give them the link to that grid. That's why we suggested doing a separate grid for each block and playing around with it. So this way.
Mr. Tomaszewski said that he figured it out.
Okay, never mind. I see it. That's okay. We sorry about that. Want to make sure we take care of Mr. Tomaszewski. Yeah. So now, you got to make sure because you can have duplicate accounts where you're a student and a teacher. So make sure that you're logged into your teacher account. So you have that ability to comment to students' posts when they put them in.
I think that's it, guys.
Yeah. So if anybody, if anybody has any other questions that you want to ask, if you want to raise your hand, if there's anything else, we can stay on till 3 o'clock. But if anybody has any questions about something technically related, you're more than welcome to raise your hand and ask something, and we will help you if we can.
Oh, Mr. Tomaszewski, I graduated high school with your sister, Jamie. Actually, we went to elementary school together, too. So. Hi, Tina.
And now we just do the awkward waving to everybody.
Yeah. No, but seriously, if you guys don't have any other questions, you can feel free to leave the meeting. You can reach out to us. Some of you have our direct lines. If you have questions, let us know. And if you guys want to hear about any other tools, please let us know as well. I think we're going to do what? Ed Puzzle? What else?
Yeah, we're looking maybe in 2 weeks to talk about Ed Puzzle and Everfi and GimKit. Play around with that a little bit.
How to do GimKit live with your kids.
GimKit's fun.
Obviously, the Nearpod trainings next week.
Thank you for watching the recap of today's call about Screencastify and Flipgrid. More information can be found on the middle school Google site that's been created for professional development resources. The address is currently on the screen, bit.ly/DL6-8 WTSD.